everyone out there on the internet and Progland on the Yesshift feed. This is one of the co-hosts, Steven Schinder, live again with another solo episode, or Stevenstallment, as I've been calling them. Um, yeah, I wanted to go live and talk about the concert I went to last night. Last night I saw Peter Gabriel at the Kia Forum, and I believe the Forum is the venue where Dad saw Led Zeppelin and Yes back in 77 and 78, or maybe it was 70. No, I think it was 78, respectively. But yeah, this was a huge venue, very amazing, just lots and lots and lots of people. I saw, someone was wearing a Genesis shirt because, of course, but there was also someone wearing a Yes t-shirt, I think from the 2014 tour around the time Heaven and Earth came out because it had that artwork, and someone else had an Emerson, Lake and Palmer shirt. And, it's, I mean, it really shows that lots of prog fans have some overlap in their interests, Peter Gabriel and all these other bands. So I guess I should, and chime in if you're a Peter Gabriel fan, if you've seen him in concert, or you have any favorite songs, favorite albums. But yeah, so um, well, I'll start off with my Peter Gabriel fandom, like the extent of like how much I've seen. So back in '08, and I've talked about this before, like that was a time when I started getting into all these different prog rock bands, and of course Genesis was one of them. So I went through their entire discography, so obviously that includes the first several albums which featured Peter Gabriel. And I really loved his singing right away. And over the years, I've listened to some of his solo work. Like my dad showed me the video Growing Up Live, which is an amazing concert, a great stagecraft and great showmanship. It's incredible. Definitely worth checking out. And I know for sure I've listened to his first solo album. I can't remember if I listened to his second one, but I know for sure that I've listened to the So album, a very popular one from the mid 80s. And I love the movie Say Anything, so of course the song In Your Eyes. Um, Also Salisbury Hill, just it's such an it has a feel to it. And one time I made a bold choice because I was hearing Salisbury Hill playing somewhere. And yeah, so I haven't listened to every single one of his solo albums, but I still consider myself a fan because, I feel like I've listened to enough to consider myself one. And, that doesn't mean that you have to listen to a lot to be a fan. Like, if you love even just a few songs of his, and hey, you're a fan. But point being that going into this concert, I had somewhat of an idea of his solo stuff. Um, Obviously, I've heard like other hits like Games Without Frontiers. It even appeared in the TV show Legion. Uh, and Shock the Monkey is another one. But yeah, so I didn't have a checklist of songs that I really needed to be played. Like, admittedly, Salisbury Hill and In Your Eyes, even though they're the big hits, um, I still went into the concert with the mindset that, okay, I love those songs, but if the show is incredible and spectacular and they don't play those songs, then I'm good. Like, if they show a lot of new material, then that's fun. That makes leaving those particular hits out worth it, because like we've been saying, showcasing the new material is important. And from what I understand, Peter Gabriel has been releasing each track from his upcoming IO album every full moon. It has 12 tracks, and 10 of them have been released so far. And sorry, I'm just like typing out the post so that I can share this around. It's kind of tough to multitask, but uh, yeah. So um, I really, that style, that release style. I think Tarja has done something similar to that. Release one track at a time, maybe once a month or something similar like that. And I thought it was I actually thought the album had already come out before I really looked into it, and it's like, oh, it actually comes out in December. I know for sure I listened to at least a bit of the title track IO. There's a video that came out not too long ago. But going into the concert, I was unfamiliar with the new material because I wanted to go in with kind of a fresh slate. And I'll tell you, this did not disappoint. The set list was well balanced, and I'm just pulling up the set list on my phone real quick. Okay, so I was sort of high up and in the back, so the stage itself was really further away in the front, and there's like a screen. While we were waiting, it looked like a clock, and like someone was using marker to write what the clock hands to show what time it was, and they'd wipe it away. And um, once it gets to like a minute or a few minutes later, thought that was very creative. But once the show proper started, Peter Gabriel and his band got on the stage, and you know Tony Levin, of course, a longtime collaborator, and has played live with Gabriel on many, many occasions. So it was cool to see him there. For the first couple of songs, I felt like the sound, I don't know, or maybe the songs themselves, they weren't quite hitting me in that vibration type of way, or that loud bombastic type of way that some of the later songs were, or would, whatever is grammatically correct. But they're good songs. He began with Washing of the Water. Beforehand, he said, Here Comes Water, and I thought he was going to play Here Comes the Flood, but no, it was Washing of the Water. And right before that song, he also had this nice monologue and was talking about, oh, what you see on stage is actually my avatar. And I couldn't quite tell if he was, the idea sounds kind of like the James Cameron version, but I couldn't tell if maybe he was referencing the Nickelodeon animated series. But in any case, showing his sense of humor, being like the real me is actually lying flat, vacationing in the Caribbean. And his talking voice, in between songs, whenever he would talk, I kept thinking to myself, I would really love to hear Peter Gabriel narrate some nature documentaries. He has like that type of talking voice that's like very soothing but also informative and educational. So Washing of the Water was a great start to the show. And then he played Growing Up. So again, I was thinking back to that concert film Growing Up Live. And then once they got to this next song, that's when it really felt like the soundscape for the rest of the concert was really hitting me. So he talked about AI. We gotta be careful about AI and whatnot. And he played the song Panopticon, which is from the new upcoming album IO. So this is completely new to me. The screens, there are these two large video screens showing footage of the show as it was happening. The performers, they were in black and white, and they had like these squares around their faces, so really tying into the theme there. And it was really bombastic, really cool. Then the next one was Four Kinds of Horses, and this also appears on the upcoming album. And after that, I played the title track, which contains the lyrics, just a part of everything, and it's a sobering reminder that we are each part of a larger whole. It's not all just about us. We are part of something, and there's a lot to really take in and to acknowledge and whatnot. So, right there, you have three new tracks in a row after a couple other familiar tracks. So, this is all off to an amazing start right here. And again, like so impressive. So, there's a lot of new here. A lot of it was new to me, and I was really digging this. So, the next song after that was. Sorry, I'm switching back and forth between apps. Digging in the Dirt. And, again, it had that really amazing feel. Um, the sound, you gotta like and throughout the show he would thank like all these different people, like the engineer on the album and the mixers who were in the middle of the place in the venue, and all the different performers, so really giving everyone their due. Then he played Playing for Time, which is another new track from the album. This is when we get another, back to back set of three new songs. He played that, and then Olive Tree, and This Is Home. And again, there are like some great visuals like up against these songs, like each one matching each theme. Like for This Is Home, I remember there's a screen that showed a picture of a house. And then he played Sledgehammer, which, people familiar with the song, myself included, we got really hyped up with that. Um, and like then there was an intermission, and I should also mention that the person sitting next to me was is really smart. She had these binoculars, because of where we were sitting, far back. She was able to like use them to look at the performers on the stage, and thankfully the video screens helped with some of that. But I think that was a really smart choice. It's something I might need to consider for future concerts if I'm ever in that type of section at a venue like that. So then we get an intermission for about 20 minutes. Um, and, I'm just like already like really taking it in. Before going to the concert, um, it wasn't really until I got in my seat that it really hit me that, oh my gosh, I'm gonna see Peter Gabriel live at concert, or in concert rather. And I was just like in the moment by this point. So once the intermission ended, he began the next part of the set with Darkness. The screens would show these woods like at night. It had like a creepy look to it, and it really went well with the song. And then they played Love Can Heal, and some amazing great visuals, use of red and whatnot. And this is another new track from IO. And then he played Road to Joy, and then this next one, everyone recognized this one, Don't Give Up. A nice back and forth between him and uh, the other singer, who she was like they were singing like as a duo, like the structure of that song. And it really, you know, I'm sure it took a lot of people back in time. To me, it kind of reminded me of like, oh, Godly and Cream worked on that music video. I remember like reading up on that. And then he put another new song, The Court, and then that was followed by another familiar favorite, Red Rain. And obviously, the red light visuals, to match that song. And then this was the final track from the new album that he played for the night, and it's And Still. So right there, you have 9 tracks from the new album, which will have 12 tracks total. I read somewhere that he's played every track so far from the album on this tour. There was one track he did not play at this concert, and that was let me see if I can like look at the track list again. Okay, that was So Much. So that one was not played at this concert, but maybe it's been played elsewhere on the tour. In any case, you know, 3/4 of the new album, like showcasing that much. You know, it's one thing to showcase half the album, but 3/4, that's amazing. Like it shows that he really believes in the material and is promoting the heck out of it. I mean, listening to all these new songs, it really made me want to listen to the album. And so I earlier I checked out the singles that were out. I listened to the first couple, you know, the first couple that came out, Panopticon and Playing for Time. So listening to the studio versions. But then I decided, you know what? I need to listen to all of these once the full album is out. Because at this point, only tracks 11 and 12 have yet to be released. So it's like, I might as well wait until the whole thing is out. Or maybe I might change my mind. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, hearing the new songs, it really makes you want to get the new album. So you see how that works? Then he went back to familiar stuff, so playing Big Time, you know, that's a big one right there, of course. Then he played Live and Let Live. And by this point, I was already resigned to the possibility that he might not play Salisbury Hill or In Your Eyes, and I was totally fine with that. But then he started talking about, oh, you know, I used to go to this flat mound and I perked up and I was like, oh, he's going to play it. And so it's a place called Salisbury Hill. And so me and a bunch of people stood up and we were clapping along to it and I was singing along to it. You know, that song just means a lot to me. And he was like really into it and like prancing around on the stage and it was so cool. And if you haven't like watched this, I remember a few years ago there was a video posted on YouTube of a montage of different performances of Peter Gabriel doing Salisbury Hill in concert. So you see it cuts back and forth between different eras, but I think it maybe uses just one of the live audio recordings as its base throughout the you know, as the audio track throughout this montage. But it's a real cool video, and you see, you know, he and Tony Levin are like jump around in certain parts, and he's just really into it. So I was really at that point, I was like, okay, he's for sure gonna play In Your Eyes. So all the performers after this song left the stage momentarily and then came back for the encore. And from the opening notes, we all knew, okay, he's going to do In Your Eyes. And so he played In Your Eyes. Well, in the beginning, he uh, would repeat the song title and then held the microphone in front of Tony Levin's face, and you would hear, In Your Eyes, you know, that deep sounding. Yeah, and yeah, I was singing along to this one as well because I know all the words to this one. It's a song that's really been with me for so long, and uh, maybe some people think it's overplayed, but maybe for some Peter Gabriel fans, it's there. I've seen all good people, as me and my dad have talked about on the show with, you know, good song, but played so much. But I was so glad to hear it here. And I honestly thought that the concert was going to end with that, but then the final encore was Biko, you know, a tribute to South African activist Stephen Biko. And, you know, people would like raise their arms and, like Peter Gabriel is really into it. Like this whole concert, he in between each song he would talk about all these different things, and it was very thought provoking. Um, it felt so different from other concerts that I've been to, and you know, I feel like he did such a great job with this concert. My only like quibble, and this has nothing to do with the performance, but like with certain people in my section, there were some people in my section who, at two different points during the concert, would yell out, "Sing Shock the Monkey!" And it was so loud because they were so close to me, and I don't think it reached the stage, but I was sitting close to these people, and in my head, I was like, "Hey, please just be quiet so I can enjoy this concert." But each of those times, thankfully, they weren't at it for too long, like just a few seconds each of those times. But it's still um, like don't do that if you go to a concert. Like just no. um, and oh, I should also mention that before the show started, I overheard someone a couple rows behind me telling someone that he came with that I'll give you $100 if you yell out "play invisible" or "sing Invisible Touch" or "sing in the air tonight." And he had to explain like the Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins connection to this person, and I kind of got a good laugh out of that. But thankfully, that was never shouted. Like it's funnier to talk about doing that stuff than to actually do it, in my opinion, because everyone comes to these concerts to have an experience, and you don't want to hinder anyone's experience. And like overall, this was an incredible concert. Like I said, it was a great balance between old and new. um how many songs were played? I'm just gonna count them real quick. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so 22 songs, and out of them, out of those 22, nine were new. So that's, I'm trying to like do like a percentage thing. Okay, so 41% new. That's a pretty good percent of new material. Again, like that's the way to do it. Obviously, if it's within each artist's comfort zone, but when a set list like this happens, it's quite nice. Uh, it also kind of reminds me of when I went to see Rush back in 2012, I think it was, or maybe 13, for the Clockwork Angels tour. As my dad and I were leaving, I think Enjo was there as well. But as we were leaving, I overheard someone say, "You should have seen them in '76 or maybe '77." And the other person was like, "They play too much new shit now." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like they have like such a good balance of old and new, and like I wanted to hear the new stuff. Like I love that Clockwork Angels album. So people's opinions will vary. It's quite fascinating. um yeah, so I posted some pics from this show onto the Yesshift page, and I have like some more pics I still have yet to share. I also still have pics from the Kansas concert I went to I still need to post, so I gotta really get my act together one of these days. But I saw that some people commented on these pics, so I showed a couple pics of the view from my seat, all the people and the whole venue from the inside. I said my phone can't quite capture the grand feel of the Kia Forum. And I see Adam Sears commented, "Wow, never seen him." Oh, the other day I meant to mention that about a week ago, Um, I attended a Bandcamp listening party for the 10th anniversary of the Lobate Scarp album Time and Space, and Adam Sears and other people involved were there and in the chat. And listen to this album if you haven't already. It feels like it could have come out today, and it just blows my mind that 2013 was already 10 years ago. Um, and then we got Gina Casulo. Whoa, hope you have a great time. Yes, I did. Thank you. Pete Wilder said, such a great show. I enjoyed the new songs I didn't know as much as I enjoyed the old classics. A really grand and beautiful multimedia production. Yeah, there's a lot I could say about the multimedia production. At one point it showed like the moon on the screen, and another point it's like a eclipse with like the red circle around it. Um, it looked like a library at some point. Like there were a few like vertical screens. Like you really have to see it to really like get a good idea of how it looks. Maybe there are like some clips or pics online that could give you an idea. Gilly Good News says enjoy. Yeah, I did. Thank you. Rich Deem says saw him there when it was called the Great Western Forum in 1986. Oh wow, $25, cheap. Wow, yeah, I'm kind of envious that it was only $25. Like what I paid for my seat was definitely worth it though. Then we got Greg Olker, who says, not to mention the sound. MSG purchased the forum and spent a ton on tuning the room. For the reopening, the Eagles played. During the first show, Glenn Fry stopped the show between songs to talk to his bandmates. He came to a microphone and said, this room has the best sound of anywhere we have ever played. Enjoy the show. Yeah, like for the most part, the acoustics of this place were fantastic. Like, I really felt the concert, and it's a part of me now. It's part of my memories, and I'm so glad I was able to work this in because, from what I understand, Peter Gabriel's previous tour was back in 2014, and that's a really long time. So uh, who knows what'll happen after this. So I'm really glad I was able to catch this tour. But of course, that's not the end of my concert going for this year. I still have Yes to see on the 30th, so that should be fun. And also another Genesis connection, Steve Hackett's Genesis Revisited band. I'm seeing him November 18th, so really cool stuff to talk about coming ahead. But before those, there's some other stuff that my dad and I will be on for. So just follow facebook.com/yesshift, and we'll post about what we'll be up to. And you can also go to youtube.com/@yesshift and see these videos after the live, so like after they've been reposted. And you can also find the audio for Yes Shift on various podcast platforms. Just search Yes Shift and you'll probably find us. And you can also email Yes Shift via yesshiftpodcast@gmail.com and send us feedback or just have a friendly convo. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I can't say enough great things about this concert. Like it was so incredible. I feel like I can't really, you know, I I can't really I just hope that I did it justice. It was great, and I hope that people enjoyed it and are able to see it. And yeah, it's so good. All right, so that's it for now, and we'll see you all soon.